puts her head back and smiles, then lifts up her medal.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Kendall.
Fired at pop superstar Rihanna's home. We're live in the Crest neighborhood with new details on the suspected shooter.
So that's going to affect other areas of the economy where things are going to slow down.
The ripple effects of war. We speak to an economist about why the impacts go far beyond your next stop for gas.
And you saw it live right here on NBC4, the marathon's photo finish that now is the talk of the town. The NBC4 News at 11 starts right now.
NBC4 News at 11 starts with breaking news.
And we do begin tonight with that breaking news. Gunfire coming right to the front gate of the home of Rihanna. I'm Kathy Vara.
I'm Jonathan Gonzalez. One woman is now in custody as NBC4 investigates learned she's accused of firing an AR-15. Within the hour, our News Chopper 4 caught this bird's eye view of people still moving through the main driveway of the home there. NBC4 investigates says this is just a few feet from where the shooter allegedly drove up and started firing.
Our Tracy Leong has been at the scene all night. She is live now. And Tracy, you got a chance to talk to neighbors who actually heard what happened.
Yeah, Jonathan and Kathy, they were, of course, startled by hearing that gunfire. They say it's a typically very quiet area. The police left this street about 45 minutes ago, so we got a little closer to the property, and right now we are standing just outside of Rihanna's gated property. News Chopper 4 captured a heavy police presence outside the Beverly Crest mansion of pop star and business mogul Rihanna after a reported shooting around 1:20 Sunday afternoon.
It was really loud and everything echoes in this valley, so you can hear everything here.
NBC4 investigates, says a woman drove to the singer's property on Heather Road near Coldwater Canyon Drive and fired between 7 to 9 rounds from an AR-15 style rifle. 4 rounds struck Rihanna's home. LAPD arrested the alleged shooter shortly after. People living nearby say it's rare to see or hear the type of violence in their secluded neighborhood.
Well, I was just washing dishes in my house and I heard shots. And I was a little shocked. You know, we don't hear that kind of thing in this neighborhood. It's pretty quiet.
LAPD confirms Rihanna was home at the time of the shooting, but no injuries were reported. It's unclear if the singer's partner, A$AP Rocky, or their 3 children were home.
Nobody should have to deal with being, in fear in your own home. That's terrible.
NBC4 investigates says the weapon involved has been recovered. A possible motive has been revealed. Reporting live in Beverly Crest, Tracy Leong, NBC4 News.
Now to our breaking news on the war in the Middle East and the impacts here at home. Tonight, Iran moving forward with a new supreme leader.
He is the son of the late Ayatollah who was killed during the first strikes by the U.S. in Israel 1 week ago. Tonight, NBC4's Macy Jenkins has more on the supreme leader and how this choice could affect the war.
President Trump said earlier this week the former Supreme Leader's son would be an unacceptable choice and that he should handpick the new leader. This on the same day an 8th U.S. soldier has died as a result of the conflict.
Iranian state media on Sunday announcing Mojtaba Khamenei as the new supreme leader of Iran and only the 3rd in the history of the Islamic Republic. He replaces his father, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, killed last week in a joint U.S.-Israeli operation, a choice that experts say is inconsistent with the beliefs of the founders of the Islamic Republic.
This is a government that's entire principle of theocracy is built on the idea that hereditary rule is un-Islamic.
UCLA political science and Middle Eastern studies professor Benjamin Rad says Mojtaba Khamenei had a leadership role in the Islamic Revolutionary Guard for many years and would likely hold the same hostility towards the U.S. and the West as his father.
And we also have the other issue that the son lacks really the credibility, the experience, And I should say just the following.
Tonight, the U.S. and Israel continuing large-scale airstrikes on Iran, the country issuing retaliatory strikes on Israel and U.S. military assets in Jordan, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. Professor Rad says Israel claims to have decimated at least half of Iran's missile launchers.
It's difficult to see this part of it lasting more than a week or 10 days. Before there's some serious sort of a change that comes in.
But this morning, the Iranian foreign minister on Meet the Press rejected calls for a ceasefire.
This is imposed on us by the United States, by Israelis. They have, started this war unprovoked, unwarranted, illegally. And what we are doing is legal act of self-defense, and we have every right to do that.
President Trump not ruling out sending ground troops into Iran to secure enriched uranium.
Something we could do later on. We wouldn't do it now. Maybe we'd do it later.
Professor Rad predicts we'll likely see the U.S. government use other tactics first.
I think what we're likely to see, if anything first, would be the use of special forces covert operations to secure the nuclear enrichment sites that we talked about, the ones that were attacked last June that are now buried under rubble.
Hundreds have been killed across the Middle East, and the death toll of U.S. service members rose by 2, now reaching a total of 8.
Macy Jenkins, NBC4 News.
The war is weighing heavily on the U.S. economy, too. The market sinking ahead of the Monday open.
We're already starting to see the impacts go far beyond the price of gas, though tonight the average price is up over $5 a gallon in Southern California. That is up more than 50 cents in just a week.
The 3 major indices on Wall Street all set to open down by about 2% tomorrow. That's as futures and crude oil skyrocketed today, soaring past $100 a barrel for the first time since 2022.
But it's not just gas and the stock market. We spoke to an economist today who pointed to the ripple effect those oil prices have on really every other sector.
Can't go out to eat as much. They might not retail, and so that's going to affect other areas of the economy where things are going to slow down, and so that in turn can lead to layoffs if businesses are experiencing lower sales.
Getting a better sense of how the American public feels about the war.
New polling from NBC News shows after the first few days, 54% of those asked disapprove of President Trump's handling of the situation in Iran. But President Trump's overall approval rating has climbed by 5% in just the past month, now sitting at 44%.
And as we enter another week of war in the Middle East, NBC4 and the NBC national team have a rolling page of live updates on the latest strikes, gas prices, and the impact on military personnel. It is live now on NBCLA.com and the NBCLA app.
We are closing the book on a hot and windy weekend across Southern California. We saw those Santa Ana winds lead to a few downed trees and a higher fire risk. But as we take a live look now outside LAX, we have meteorologist Stephanie Omo tracking it in her first alert forecast. Stephanie.
Yeah, Jonathan and Kathy, it was earlier this afternoon. We saw high temperatures in the upper 80s to low 90s across the region, especially right around the basin and even parts of the coastal communities as well. Right now, we're checking out this live picture of downtown Los Angeles. Mostly clear skies holding up. Temperatures currently at 64 degrees. Earlier today, we soared to 90 degrees this afternoon. Also was pretty windy earlier today. This is the situation right now. We're looking at relatively light to calm winds across the region. Just a little bit of a breeze there in Hemet with miles an hour. For the valleys, we are keeping things nice and sunny as we head into tomorrow morning. Temperatures by 10 in the morning will be in the low 80s. We can expect again some breezes around the area here as we continue as we head into tomorrow as we start up the new work week, and a little bit of a light breeze through the afternoon before things sort of subsides as we head into tomorrow night. So what's to be expected? We head into tomorrow. Temperatures will be a little bit cooler compared to what we had here today. Highs will be primarily in the 70s for many spots. We have that onshore flow returning as we head into Tuesday. This is going to bring some morning clouds and fog, and then mid to late week, things will start to heat up yet again. We'll have more details in just a bit. For now, over to you guys.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. Well, runners had to brave the heat for today's 2026 Los Angeles Marathon, but we were still treated to a historic finish. You saw it all right here on NBC4.
It was the closest finish in LA Marathon history, capping off a 26.2-mile run that stretched from Dodger Stadium to downtown, across Hollywood, all the way out to Century City.
23,000 people participated as our team was standing by alongside them the entire way. Sunday.
Tonight, our Keenan Willard is recapping the last-minute finish that will be remembered for quite some time.
A photo finish, thousands of fans, and a smile on almost every finisher's face. Today's LA Marathon was a road race through the heart of Hollywood's most iconic landmarks.
It's high energy for sure. Everybody's excited.
The race kicked off at Dodger Stadium at 7 a.m., but at the finish line in Century City, runners' family and friends started lining up much earlier.
3 o'clock in the morning, why come out that early?
Well, because we got a prime spot. You know, how else are we going to get here? There's a lot of people here.
Less than 10 seconds.
This year, NBC4 and Telemundo 52 became official partners of the LA Marathon, and our teams were everywhere. Robert Kovacic, Lolita Lopez, and Alex Rozier covering the action out on the course. And at the finish line, anchors Lynette Romero, Michael Brownlee, and Colleen Williams breaking down the highlights.
To be a part of this, it's a bigger thing than any of us could ever dream about. It's exciting, and I love the commitment.
The first runner to complete the course was Kenyan Priska Chirono, who took gold in the women's group.
Happy I win the race for the first time in America. I was so happy. Actually, it was so happy for me.
The men's race was much closer. Right at the finish line, leader Michael Kamal was passed and fell down hard, giving American Nathan Martin the win. Kamal was stretchered off, but wasn't seriously hurt.
You doing okay?
Martin says the SoCal crowd helped push him